Kirtan is composer, Annamacharya, saint poet, 15th century. வீணவாயின்றனே அலமேலு மங்கம்மா வீணவாயின்றனே அலமேலு மங்கம்மா వేణుగాన విలోలుదైన వెంకటేశున్వోడ వీణవాయించనే అలమేలు మంగమ్మ కురులు మెల్లన జారగ సన్నజ జీవిరులు సల్లలాగు కురులు మెల్లన జారగ సన్నజ జీవిరులు సల్లలాగు కరగం కనంగులు కల్లని మిర్యో మిరోయగ మరువైన వజ్రలు మెరుగుడులాడగా మరువైన వజ్రలు మెరుగుడులగడగా వీణవాయింజనే అలమేలు మంగమ్మ సందది దందళు కడలాగను సందది దందలు కడలాగను అణిముద్యలు సరులు వ్యాలలావుగను అణిముద్యలు సరులు వ్యాగలావుగను అందమై బాలికను అండమై పాలిటన్ను అలడిన కుంగుమ అండమై పాలిటంలను అలడిన కుంగుమ కందము శందకే కరగే కుమ కుమ మనగు కందము కెందకే కరగే కుంగుమ మనగు వీణవాయించనే అలమేలు మంగమ్మ వేణుగాన విలోలటైన వెంకటేశున్వోడ వేణుగాన విలోలటైన వెంకటేశున్వోడ వీణవాయించనే అలమేలు మంగమ్మ గణనయనములు మెరయాగ గణనయనములు మెరయాగ ఇందరాగమును ముద్దులు పులుకగ ఇందరాగమును ముద్దులు పులుకగ గణని బావేణి గణని బావేణి జందరిగాత అత్రము జందరయాగత్రము మెరయగ వినిది మెరయగ వినిది శ్రీ వెంకటాచలు శ్రీ వెంకటాచలు వినుల వీండుగ శ్రీ వెంకటాచుల వినులు విరుండుగ వినవాయించిని అలమేలు మంగమ్మ వేణుగాన విలోలటైన వెంకటేశున్వోడ వినవాయించిని అలమేలు మంగమ్మ. హరే కృష్ణ. Translation. As she plays Veena, Mother Alamelu Manga, at Venkatesa, the enthralled from playing flute, as tresses slowly sliding, star jasmine flowers as well, as the results, that is bangles sounding exuberantly, as the clocked diamonds shine faintly, as her garland of her arms moving, as stands a big ocean pearls swing as the vermilion smeared on her beautiful breast, as and as sandal as well as smelling sweet as thawing out in sweet, as her broad eyes glisten, as strange tunes ocean fondly played, as her bass instrumental like voice outside, as blessed to the ears of listening Sri Venkatesh. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranams. Such a wonderful kirtan. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. All right. So, who would like to sing Mangala Charan today?
Mataji, may I read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Anjanadinirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurmunmilidam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yudapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sakrajadam Sakagana Raghunadan Vidam Tamsya Jivam Tadvaidam Savadudam Varjana Sakidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sakagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vidam Cha Namahum Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Giti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachatya Deshadharini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Guru Divesha Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpade Ho Vesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namastude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vacha Kalpataru Baccha Kripa Sindhu Baya Evacha Adidana Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranams. Very beautiful. So, let's begin our class. Hare Krishna Shweta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mata. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, how are you Mataji?
Fine Mataji. You continue Mataji. I will listen Mataji. Sorry for interrupting.
No problem Mataji. So happy to see you.
Happy Ekadashi to all everyone. Devotees Mataji's and Prabhuji's Sadhu Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Shweta Mataji, Hare Pranam, Tanda Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Mataji. Okay Mataji, you can continue. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you Mataji. Thank you for joining. Hari bol to you Shweta Mataji for doing such a wonderful seva. She is the one who's making all the PDFs of all these chapters and sharing with me regularly. So big Hari bol to you Mataji. Thank you so much for the wonderful seva. All right. So today we are going to begin chapter 7. Okay. Anyone knows what is the name of chapter 7? Hare Krishna.
Uniting two words.
Hari
Uniting two words.
Hari bol. Very nice, Prabhuji. Uniting two worlds, right? So that is chapter 7 we're going to start today. And we completed chapter 6 yesterday, right? So, what is the name of chapter 6?
There be a
Yajna Kirtan
temple.
Part 2. Part 2.
Part Haribo. Wonderful. Very nice. So, okay, just can someone, Mithmanika Prabhuji, can you summarize in just 2 minutes?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
The highlight point is narration first Vrindavana visiting by Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada initially seen whatever the activities carried out by Gurudasa, Surabhi and Gunarnava. He was overwhelmed, he was not happy in condition. So that he arranged bring concrete, cement and other materials at site. So Gunarnava recorded all the things, whatever the materials arrived at site, and all people agreed to open the temple at the Ram Navami in April, which will come in the April month. So in between that time, Prabhupada visited Tokyo, other Los Angeles, Hawaii, and then visiting 2 month program there, and other Caracas, Venezuela, Mexico City, and other parts of these things. And after that, he'll end up in Vrindavana. And Surabhi agreed to make the things, and in between that, Surabhi reported, and we will make the temple on time at April. So the temple opening will be in April at Ram Navami day. So temple opening, and Prabhupada happy to see the whatever the work done during that time, and centrally one dome and sided two domes, and deities installed there, and Prabhupada and two sides, temple, the two side of the devotee, the big bell installed, and the Prabhupada around the bell, and how it rings and checked and circulating. Half a dozen times, the 6 times he circulated the around the deity, and everything Prabhupada checked, and now that ready. And outside also, the domes Prabhupada checked. Above that, the balls, three balls like that, the copper kalasa was made, and which indicates the lower, middle, upper planets. Besides that, above Sudarsana Chakra also symbolically mentioned for this is Krishna Mandir. So Krishna Balaram temple was completed, and all invitation given to more than 500 devotees came from outside, and those who are permanent member, they are staying at the four-story building, which guest house made in the Vrindavana, the Krishna Balaram Mandir itself. So 40 rooms available to them, and Prabhupada seemed very happy, and where there was no temple one time with Vrindavana, but now the temple was made, seva and everything was available. More than 600 devotees, and they are nowadays they are visiting Vrindavana as a dham, because so why Prabhupada concentrated at dham to founding the temples at the dhams, because dham make the holy place, and dham is a holy place, and the devotees have to visit always there if a temple is there, and they make devotional service there. Yes, madam. Complete. Hare Krishna.
Very nice, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for summarizing it so beautifully. So, it was such an interesting class. So, today we will begin our chapter 7, right? So, uniting two words. So, I'll just share my screen and then we will start. Hare Krishna, is my screen visible? Okay, Haribol. So, Valli Mataji can start, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Correct. Uniting two words. San Francisco, July 5, 1970. Srila Prabhupada was attending the 1970 Ratha Yatra in San Francisco. The day was cold and windy, and about 10,000 people had joined the Lord Jagannatha's procession through Golden Gate Park. Srila Prabhupada had danced in the street with thousands of participants during the parade, addressed a large crowd in an auditorium by the beach, and looked on as his disciples had distributed a free vegetarian prasadam feast to thousands. But when a devotee arrived with a half a dozen advance copies of Volume 1 of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada appeared especially pleased. Surrounded by devotees and curious festival goers, Srila Prabhupada held one of the books, admiring the front cover with its full color picture of Radha and Krishna. The volume was big, almost 7.5 by 10.5 inches, and its dust jacket shone silver with large bright and letters Krishna. It was a transcendental wonder in Srila Prabhupada's reverent hands. Onlookers could barely restrain themselves from pressing in against Srila Prabhupada to peer over his shoulders, and they did not restrain their exclamations when Prabhupada smiled and opened the volume. He examined the illustrations, the print, the paper, and the binding. Very nice, he said. He fixed his attention on a page, reading, then he looked up and announced that his greatly valuable book, Krishna, had just arrived and that everyone should read it. Holding one book in his hand with other copies stacked before him, he said that anyone who so desired should come forward and buy a copy. People began clamoring, and hands with $10 bills thrust Mataji. Hands forward, while voices cried out, begging for a copy, and Prabhupada promptly sold every book, not even keeping one for himself. For the devotees, Srila Prabhupada's selling of the Krishna book was the most spectacular event of the Radha Yatra's festival. They poured over the purchased books in groups, discussing Krishna's pastimes and the effect they would have on the people of America. Brahmananda told how
Hare
in
Krishna,
19
Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Muttamaikam Prabhuji, would you like to continue next? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Brahmananda told how in 1967 Prabhupada had given away his advanced copy of Teachings of Lord Chaitanya in his room at 26 2nd Avenue in New York. Just before that book had arrived, Srila Prabhupada had been sitting and talking with Satyavrata, a disciple who had previously stopped coming to the temple due to petty quarreling with his god brothers. When the copy of the teaching of Lord Chaitanya had arrived, Srila Prabhupada had lovingly inspected it and had then offered it to Satyavrata as a gift. Ramananda had been astounded to see Srila Prabhupada give away his only copy of the book, having helped publish this book. Ramananda knew how painstakingly Prabhupada had written it and how he had anxiously waited 1 year for the book to finally see print. Yet once it had arrived, he had immediately given it away and to a disciple who has not even a good standing. Satyavrata had taken the book, thanked Srila Prabhupada and left never to be seen again. Although Srila Prabhupada wanted his disciple to be as eager to distribute Krishna conscious literature as he was, none of them knew how to do it. Distributing a magazine is asking for a small donation with one thing, but big hard-bound book. When the entire shipment of teachings of Lord Chaitanya had arrived in New York City in April of 1967, the devotees had hired a truck, picked up the books at the dock, and unloaded them at 26 7th Avenue. They had then shipped them to ISKCON centers in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Boston, Montreal, and elsewhere. And there they remained. Some devotees had tried placing ads in magazines and leaving books in bookstores on consignment. But the books didn't sell. How to sell these big hardbound books remained a mystery until something significant happened, an accidental discovery. One day in 1971, while driving back to the temple after chanting in downtown San Francisco, two brahmacharis stopped at a local service station for gas. When the attendant came to the window for money, one of the devotees showed him a Krishna book. The attendant seemed interested, and the two devotees began preaching the glories of Krishna consciousness. When they suggested to take the book as payment for the gas, he agreed. Astonished at what had happened and inspired by their success, the two brahmacharis went the next day with several Krishna books and stood in front of the grocery store. And again it happened this time. They sold two books. Keshava,
Hare
the
Krishna,
son,
Prabhu.
yes, madam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Ekamba Prabhuji, would you like to continue next? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Keshava, the San Francisco temple president, phoned his GBC supervisor and brother Karnadara in Los Angeles to tell him what had happened. It's like a miracle, Keshava explained. Karnadara encouraged him to experiment further, and soon the San Francisco temple had half a dozen men going from door to door, showing the books to people in their homes. When Buddhimanta began selling as many as 5 books a day, the devotees in other temples, especially in Los Angeles, San Diego, and Denver, wanted to follow his example. And whoever tried it and sold the book became caught up in a euphoric excitement. The experience and the testimonies of devotees selling Srila Prabhupada's book describe a special taste distinct from the happiness young men might ordinarily experience by stumbling upon a sales technique and finding themselves on the verge of making a lot of money. The difference is that the devotee's book distribution being devotional service to Krishna produces an ecstasy that is transcendental, in ecstasy far beyond even the greatest material happiness. Ordinary business and the business is selling Krishna conscious literature are as different as material life is from spiritual life. And by anyone observing spiritual life from the material point of view will not understand it. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati had compared such empirical attempts to understand the ecstasy of Krishna consciousness with attempts to taste honey by licking the outside of the bottle. The young man and women beginning to distribute books in America knew that Srila Prabhupada, by giving them Krishna consciousness, had saved them from hellish life, and they wanted to help him give Krishna consciousness to others. And such preaching by distributing his book was ecstasy, spiritual ecstasy. By mid 19th century, the temple was selling hundreds of Krishna books a week. Karnataka Prabhupada's book fund manager began sending Sankirtana newsletters to the North American temples to Srila Prabhupada. By listing the monthly results of each temple book distribution, the newsletters incited competition. Karnataka's December 1971 newsletter summed up the mood of the year and urged the devotees to increase.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Danvat Pranams. Praveen Prabhuji, would you like to continue next? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Yes, Mataji.
Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranams.
Recently, in an all-out program to sell books, the San Francisco Temple has been averaging 20 Krishna books per day distribution. What is their technique? Keshav Prabhu says, simply we make it our priority activity. All you have to do is want to do it and then try as hard as you can. Everywhere we go, we carry Bhagavad Gita's and then Krishna books. He says, on street, escapee door to door, to the laundrement, to the store, everywhere. We have been taxing our brains in so many fancy and complicated ways to try to increase sales. But as it has been experienced, nothing is more successful than simply taking the books personally in hand and going door to door with this causeless mercy. Just consider how many hours a day do we spend specifically trying to distribute Srila Prabhupada's literature, which is the dearmost thing to him. The crowning touch to end the year's Sankirtana, however, came not from the newsletter, but from Prabhupada himself, who wrote to Keshava, the king of Krishna book distribution. I've been receiving so many reports. Just a second, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Oh, sure, Prabhuji.
I've been receiving so many reports about how many disciples from the San Francisco temple cannot be surpassed by anyone in distributing my books. Sometimes they are sometimes they are selling as many as 70 Krishna books daily. So if this is true, then certainly when I return to the US, I must come and stay in your temple. By distributing my books, by distributing my books profusely, you are giving me great encouragement to translate, and you are all helping me to fulfill the order which Guru Maharaj gave me. So I'm so much grateful to you, and I'm sure Krishna will bless you a million times over for doing this work. I hope that you and all my beloved disciples in San Francisco Temple are in strong health and jolly mood. Shall I continue, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, just one more paragraph.
Okay, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Sure. Copies of this letter went out to every ISKCON center. Prabhupada had always given his blessings to all the devotees, but never before could anyone recall his saying a devotee would get Krishna's blessings a million times over. Although a letter from Prabhupada usually instructed a specific devotee, the instruction often had the universal application, and Srila Prabhupada's letters made clear his disciples' top priority book distribution. I'm very pleased to hear that you are increasing in your distribution of our books and magazines. This is a good sign that your preaching work is also strong. The more you increase your strength in preaching, the more you will go on selling books. I want to especially that my books be distributed widely.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranams. Krishnadas Prabhuji, would you like to read next? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Prabhupada's ambition
Prabhuji.
was Prabhupada's ambition was to replace mundane literature with transcendental. At least in every home, there should be one piece of Krishna conscious literature. He reasoned because if a person read only one page, his life could be turned towards perfection. If 1% of the readers become devotees, he wrote, that will change the world. Whereas mail order advertisers were satisfied with a 5% response, Srila Prabhupada spoke of an even smaller percentage, 1%, whom he thought could become pure devotees in response to receiving a book. Lord Krishna also confirms this in Bhagavad Gita. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. To make the world Krishna conscious, therefore, would require that millions of pieces of transcendental literature to be distributed. Srila Prabhupada wanted his disciples to understand why they should distribute his books, and he instructed them through his letters. Hare Krishna. Who God is can be summed up in only 5 words. Krishna is the supreme controller. If you become convinced of this and preach it enthusiastically, success is assured, and you will be doing the greatest service for all living entities. He wrote to Jayadvaita, the books and magazines are our most important propaganda weapons to defeat the ignorance of Maya's army. And the more we produce such literature and sell them profusely all over the world, the more we shall deliver the world from the suicide course. To Jagadisha, he wrote, I am encouraged to see your report of books sold because it proves that you consider it your responsibility to see that more and more people are reading our literature. Actually, this is the solid basis for our preaching work. No other movement has got such profuse authority for preaching. And if someone reads our Krishna conscious philosophy, he becomes convinced.
Hari Bol.
Hare,
Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna.
much. Hare Krishna. Mamta Mataji, would you like to read next? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, yes, I will read.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. Prabhupada continued to insist that all major Krishna consciousness programs be maintained, including deity worship, chanting Hare Krishna in public, and holding outside lecture. All programs are important, but book distribution, whenever possible, should accompany to the other programs. To a sannyasi who maintains program, whose main program was public lecturing, Prabhupada wrote, distribution books as many as possible. If anybody hears some philosophy from us, that will help him. But if he purchases the book, that may turn his life. So selling book is the best preaching activity. Sell books, hold the kirtan in public places like school and college and village. All in a and in a letter to Bhagwan Das in France, he stressed that the same thing. What what will your 3 minutes preaching do? But if they buy one book, it may turn their life. Another breakthrough from book distribution came at the end of 1972. The previous year, devotees had taken advantage of the Christmas session by selling Krishna book door to door, but no one had been aware just significance the Christmas season could actually be. Rameshwara. It was on December 22nd, 1972, that we accidentally discovered that Christmas marathon in Los Angeles. Of course, we noticed a great increase in number of people going into the store, and the stores were staying open sometime until midnight. I was standing in front of a Burbank Jodies. We are having an intense competition with the prizes in Los Angeles, and it was building up to the feverish pitch. So after distributing medley all day long, I had collected about 350 and distributed 650 magazines. It was about 10 o'clock at night. I was convinced that it was a new world record in ISKCON and that nobody was possible going to be beat this day. Even though the stores was open until midnight, business had been started slowing off, and I was thinking maybe I should go back. Until everyone is back already. No one has ever stayed out past 8 o'clock. That's they will all be waiting for me. I should not keep them waiting up. So it was the way in my mind was convincing me to go back. By 11 o'clock, the store was completely dead. I got in the car and starting driving back. On the way, on the way back, I passed another Jodi's called Hollywood Jodi's on Sunset Festival. I was torn whether to stop or not because the store was crowded and was going to be open until midnight. But I decided to return to the temple because I thought all the other devotees were probably already back and were just waiting to see how many books I have distributed. So I just kept on. I arrived at a just into Sankirtan.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I think there's some network issue. Yeah. Muttamanikam Prabhuji, would you like to continue? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. I finally arrived at the temple at about 10 minutes to 12, and I burst into the Sankirtana room. But the only person there was the secretary, Madhu Gandha. I said, "Oh no, everyone went to the bed." He said, "Nobody is back yet." I was the first one back. That was the discovery of the first Christmas marathon. It was completely unplanned. No one had ever instructed anyone to stay out that is late. We just did it spontaneously. Finally, at about 1:30 in the morning, all the devotees had returned, and we were all sitting around looking at the Sankirtana map. We could not sleep. We were so excited to go out. We were thinking, where can we find plenty of conditioned souls to distribute books to? Our noise and Rouse's laugher was like a drunken party, and it woke up Karandara, who was sleeping in his office in the next room. We came stumbling in, wiping the sleep from his eyes, and when he saw us and saw what was going on, he burst out laughing and sent us all to bed, saying, "Get ready for tomorrow." So, in this way, we performed the 3 day marathon, December 22 to 23 and 24. No one had ever distributed as many books before the history of our movement. A big day had been considered to be somewhere between 25 and 40 books, but we were distributing between 5,000 and 6,000 pieces of literature a day for a 3 day period. One temple had distributed almost 18,000 pieces of literature in just 3 days. When Prabhupada received news of the book distribution in Los Angeles and elsewhere in the United States, he was very pleased and amazed. Although involved with many affairs from throughout the world, he put them aside and released the overwhelming victory of book distribution in America. Immediately, he called in his personal secretary and dictated letters. My dear Rameshwar, I beg to acknowledge the receipt of your letter dated December 27, 1972. And with great happiness, I had read your figures of amount of books sold during 3 day period, December 22, 24, 1972. It is scarcely believable that more than 17,000 books could have been sold by one temple in 3 days. That indicates to me that people are at last becoming a little serious about the Krishna conscious movement in your country. Otherwise, why they should buy our books? But they can see that our boys and girls, the devotees, and so much sincere and serious to distribute the message of Krishna consciousness. They are at once struck by seeing them, and therefore they appreciate all and purchase. This is unique in the world. So I am so much pleased upon all of the boys and girls in Los Angeles and all over the world who are understanding and appreciating the unique quality of our transcendental literature, and voluntarily they are going out to distribute despite all circumstances of difficulty. By difficult
By this effort alone.
by this effort alone, they are assured to go back to home, back to garden. The same day, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. We'll stop with this today. We will continue from tomorrow. It's been such an interesting chapter, right, to start with. Yeah. So I think it's so motivating for us to read this chapter 7. It speaks a lot about preaching books and the marathon which happened and how wonderfully it's been going and how Srila Prabhupada has been so very happy looking at it. So with the same happiness, let us enter our 2026. Happy Krishna Consciousness New Year to all of you. So we will begin our 2026 again tomorrow by continuing with the same happiness from here. Okay, so Hari Bol to all of you. Thank you so much for joining in. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन धन्यवाद
Hare
प्रणाम्स
Krishna, Mataji.